Ever since its release, there has been a back and forth feud within the community as to whether Monster Hunter Rise is just perfect the way it is, or that it is far too easy compared to its predecessors. Now, considering the amount of times I've died live on stream... No! Why? Why do I always try to avoid an attack and end up launching myself into one anyway? I find myself having a quite good understanding of the game's difficulty. And I must say, it doesn't get much easier than this. What we have here is the heavy bowgun. Howdy y'all, my name is Kanai96 and welcome to the Agony of Gaming, the satirical review series where the comedy is optional and the facts are debatable. Something that is not debatable is that every single weapon in Monster Hunter has one thing in common, and that is compromises. Let's say you're a big fan of using the hammer because making monsters fade in and out of consciousness just puts a smile on your face, you little psychopath. Well, if you need that tail cut off, no matter how much you bonk that badonk, it's just not gonna happen. If you love the big old numbers of the great sword, but the monster's overly aggressive attacks got your panties in a twist, well, too bad because you won't be getting any knockouts for damage opportunities. Now, I'm sure someone out there is going to say, "Oh, but the great sword shoulder tackle is good for knocking out monsters." Oh, okay. But are you good at knocking out monsters with the great sword shoulder tackle? Huh? Comment below, tough guy. You see, it is just this for that with all the weapons in Monster Hunter Rise. Just compromises for days. And you know, I would not be surprised to see someone down below going along the lines of, "Use the sword and shield because it's a jack of all trades. You can just do a little bit of everything." Oh wow, so being a 5 out of 10 in all categories is something we're bragging about now? Sorry, Sword and Shield, but unless they bring back oils, you ain't getting the time of day out of me. You might be saying to yourself, "Hey guy, hurry up and tell us the heavy bowgun is God's gift to Monster Hunter because it has 0 compromises." Well, let me drop the plot twist on you early. That's not true. The heavy bowgun definitely has compromises. They're just different from every other weapon in Monster Hunter Rise, including the light bowgun, which we are going to talk about later in the video. You see, what separates the heavy bowgun is the preparation. 3/4 of the hunt takes place before you ever leave the village, because it all comes down to your build. The heavy bowgun is a do-everything kind of weapon class, which may sound like I'm trying to say it's a jack of all trades like that sword and shield nonsense, but no. There may be bowguns out there trying to do a little bit of everything, and have almost every type of ammo available to them, but those are garbage, and we don't care about them. What we do care about are the bowguns that can do one or two things exceptionally well. Because if you make an armor set that complements these specific things, then you will have yourself a truly devastating weapon. Do you want to cut off every tail in the game while also setting a few speedrun records? There's a build for that. Do you want to knock the monster's lights out and also put on a fireworks display? There's a build for that. Do you want to ensure that your fellow teammates have as little fun as possible while on the hunt? Well, there's a build for that. Far range, close range, elemental, raw, there is nothing that the bowgun cannot do for you. And the only thing it'll cost you is a little bit of your time outside of the hunt in order to make sure you build a set around that specific weapon. Well, of course, you might be saying, every weapon class needs a build. Here's the thing, the heavy bowguns are all so different and unique that an all-encompassing build for the weapon class just isn't gonna work. Let me give you an example. Take a look at this longsword build I made for next week's video. Kinda sexy, isn't it? Well, I can take any other longsword, just slap it onto this sucker, and the general function will be exactly the same. I'd barely even notice a difference. But if I take this bowgun that specializes in piercing ammunition and pair it with this build that was designed around using slicing and explosive ammunition, I'm going to have a terrible time out in the hunt as I do very little damage and probably run out of ammo before I kill anything. That brings us to the two biggest arguments against using the heavy bowgun. Oh man, I have to have more than one build and also manage ammunition while out on a hunt? Now I know that may sound a little too big-brained for some of you Unga Bunga players that like to eat your bananas with the peel still on, but let me assure you, it is way simpler than you think. As far as ammo management is concerned, if you combine the powers of the item loadout with your radial menu, then you can damn near nullify the problem entirely, because you can simply bring the resources needed to craft ammunition. Then put the item crafting command in your radial menu and just create more ammo while on the hunt. You can do this while moving, it's about 4 times faster than sharpening a bladed weapon, and without the need to add any skills to speed up the process. All you have to do is create a new item loadout with your ammo resources and save a new menu setting, which takes less than 5 minutes of preparation before a hunt. Now when it comes to crafting builds, there's no argument, it can be quite tedious. But there's a new method for making the whole operation streamlined, and it involves a third-party website. I know it's not going to happen, but I kind of wish Nintendo would try to sue me for promoting this thing, because I would definitely use that drama to advertise my channel. This is called Monster Hunter Rise Armorset Search, and the link to the site will be waiting for you in the video description. It is an incredibly handy tool, and I'm going to give you a brief rundown on how it works. Step 1 is to add whichever charm you feel best suits your current weapon. The first skill that it has, the level of that skill, the second skill, if it has one, and its level, as well as the gem slots it has. Next, mosey on over and add your weapon gem slots if there are any. Then just scroll down, ignoring all these tiny boxes, and click more skills. After which you just start adding whatever you want, like you're making a grocery list. My personal favorite skills for the heavy bowgun are steadiness to keep my shots on target, ammo up and reload speed for obvious reasons, recoil down, which effectively increases my rate of fire, and then of course spare shot, which is just free ammunition every couple of shots. Something this incredibly useful and simple should just be a default feature in the game. I hope Capcom's taking notes. Once you're satisfied, just come over here to search and it will make the whole build for you using armor with skills that match your criteria, including compensating with decorations for skills that may be missing. Once you've made your build, just go to your equipment loadouts, save it for later, and boom, you're done. Your average player doesn't have to worry about having too many builds because there's just so many freaking loadouts. That is, of course, assuming you're not this mad lad who somehow ran out of room. I have no clue what this guy could possibly be doing with 112 builds. He must be playing a different game entirely.
I can't remember which NPC. It's the one who wears the red checkered dress, but apparently she's like an undercover guild knight.
Oh, really?
And she kills hunters in their sleep with her hammer if they find out they're poaching.
What the heck? What? Where did this lore come from? That sounds ridiculous, but I kind of love it. In Monster Hunter from 4 years ago, and especially sooner, there were some very valid reasons to not use either of the bowguns. But now, there's just so little excuse. If the monster's giving you too much heat, you can just throw a shield to block those attacks. You shouldn't because more damage! But you can. Don't know what skills you should be using? Well, it doesn't matter, just use whichever one you want. Except that one. Don't use that one. Feel like the heavy bowgun has made hunting too easy and you'd rather not play a point-and-click adventure game? Well, that's actually a pretty good argument. Well played. The part earlier in the video where I said 3/4 of the hunt takes place before you ever leave the village is entirely true. What could be easier than spending 10 minutes to just make a build in order to decimate a monster in under 5 minutes? This video has quite a bit of me just hanging around in the village, even a small part of not playing the game at all. And that's kind of the whole deal with the heavy bowgun. It's all about the preparation. While hunting a monster with the heavy bowgun, you simply just point the weapon and shoot them in the face until they die. Like there's no advanced strategy here. Just push the B button whenever they get a little too close and make you uncomfortable. Outside of that, you just keep pulling that trigger. If having your hunter hold a weapon in their hand, up close to the monster, slicing and dicing, is just your preferred method of playing the game, then kudos to you. Nothing wrong with that. But if you've looked at either the bowguns and immediately discriminated against them because they just seemed a little too complicated, well, let me just tell you one last time that it doesn't get much easier than this. I would like to sincerely thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you haven't done so already. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about why the light bowgun is so different from the heavy bowgun. The short answer is Nargacuga. That particular light bowgun is just so absurd in the damage department that it kind of overshadows all the weapons in the light bowgun class. So while it may be that almost everything I said about the heavy bowgun can sort of apply to the light bowgun, when it comes to almost all of them, there's just no competing with the Nargacuga light bowgun. It is truly ridiculous. All right then, that is number 13 and one more to go. The longsword will be my last video for this Monster Hunter Rise weapon review series, and then on to different things. I was going to say greater things. It's yet to be determined if they're going to be great, but they will be different. So until then, this is not goodbye for good, just goodbye for now. Oh, ow. Oh, ooh, dodge that real quick. Okay, didn't dodge that one though. Valstrax, will you stop? Can you stop hitting like a freaking truck?
Alright, let's do it.
There's your input.
It's my time.
I'm gonna go hide. Y'all
Nope.
do that. I'm gonna go weep in our corner.
No! No! I was doing the forecast animation. I didn't want none of that.
Well, I mean, now we know forecasters can't, you know.
No! Oh no!